No, what I'm referring to here, let me read a headline from the New York Times. Trump undercuts Bannon, whose job may be in danger. If you read, you find there's no evidence for this. There's no evidence, but boy, there are a bunch of leakers. But they're anonymous. Here's the evidence. AP headline, is Bannon in peril? Trump comments worry his populist base. Oh, that reminds me. Interrupt myself here for another question to make my point. I have been struck by something. After the 59 Tomahawks were launched into Syria, there were a bunch of Trumpists, famous Trumpists, who were not happy. And began tweeting immediately that Trump said he would never do this. This is not America first. This is not putting America first. This is not making America great again. Trump said he wouldn't be doing these kinds of military interventions anymore. So I began to think, is that true? Did Trump campaign by commonly, frequently, reliably promising there would not be any U.S. military intervention abroad? That's another question I must put to you Trumpists. Because I think back, I realize a lot of people interpreted that is what Trump meant when he said, put America first. And he was talking about NATO. With NATO, he never said NATO had to go away. He just said the people running it are not paying their fair share, and we're not going to continue to pay way beyond our share here. We're not going to bear the burden. If NATO's going to mean anything, these people got to play ball. By the same token, I was trying to remember last night. I Googled it, looked around. I couldn't find consistent, as in white paper policy positions, Trump claiming consistently and often that there would never be any military intervention around the world. But boy, did people think that's what he meant. There was a lot of interpretation. Putting America first, making America first, making America great, America only, no more wars in the Middle East. Like Pat Buchanan definitely thought that's what Trump meant. Pat's not happy. Pat wasn't happy when he heard the first of 59 Tomahawks got launched. He did not think, he thought those days were over. And a lot of prominent Trumpists thought those days were over and thought that's what Trump was. He's attacking trade deals. He's attacking TPP, NAFTA, and all this. And criticizing Obama for his, half-baked military maneuvers around the world. But actually assuring or promising people that the days of the United States intervening around the world were over, I don't think I remember that as a staple of the campaign. How about you, Mr. Snerdley? Do you remember that as a staple of Trump's campaign? And when you think about Trump and the campaign, and you apply what you remember from the campaign to the way he's governing, does that, like you informed me earlier, he's consistent as he can be on immigration. They're not waffling on that at all. They're not waffling on bringing jobs home, American economic upward mobility, all this stuff, fixing health care. By the way, Mark Meadows is saying they may have a replacement bill before the recess on health care. Anyway, I'll get back to this Bannon business here in just a second, because this, folks, there's something that is missing here, and not just the evidence. There's something that doesn't gel. Well, here's another one where the very public Trumpists who think that the president was going to herald a new era of isolationism, which is really what I guess that's what they thought Trump was. They thought he was an isolationist. Make America great again, and only make America. We're not going to make anybody else great again. They're on their own. We're going to make ourselves great. We're going to do whatever it takes to make ourselves great. And that's it. Well, the United States has just dropped the largest non-nuclear weapon in our arsenal on an ISIS tunnel in Afghanistan. Again, the largest non-nuclear bomb in our arsenal has for the first time been deployed. It's been dropped. It's been used on an ISIS tunnel in Afghanistan. Bomb was dropped in the Nangarhar province, the Pentagon has confirmed. The blast radius, believed to be over 300 meters, of a football field, essentially. The weapon is described as the father of all bombs, not the mother of all bombs. The father of all bombs, in an obviously Pentagon sexist comment. And it is the very first time the weapon has been used in combat. So, there will be a lot of people here who are going to be very, very much concerned about this. But I ask you to think back to the campaign. What did Donald Trump say about ISIS? He said, we're going to take them out. We've had a bunch of pansies and wussies that haven't had a serious moment about it. I'm going to get together with my military people. We're going to come up with a plan. We're going to wipe them out. It's only because we got a bunch of stupid leaders that we haven't wiped them out yet. So here comes the biggest bomb. Non-nuclear bomb. Dropped in Afghanistan on an ISIS location. Yeah, I misspoke. 300 meters is roughly 3 football fields. 300 meters, very close to 300 yards. The primary blast range of this powerful bomb. Anyway, folks, hang in to be tough. Sit tight because we just got warmed up here. That's right, the media beside itself now. Over the drop. But, the news story I had on the bomb from the UK newspaper, they quote the Pentagon as calling it the father of all bombs. CNN's calling it the mother of all bombs. But the Pentagon referred to it, at least in the story I have, as the father of all bombs. Anyway, it was dropped in a northeastern province of Afghanistan on a bunch of ISIS tunnels. 8 years of passivity under Barack Hussein. Oh, this is what American strength looks like, with messages to both enemies and allies that we haven't been sending in many, many moons.